Maybe you clicked this video because the words felt strangely personal. You asked for this, and for just a second, you wondered, wait, is this the sign I asked God for? Maybe you prayed about a relationship, a decision, a job, something you desperately want to happen. And lately, certain things have started appearing at exactly the right time. A video shows up that sounds like your situation. Someone says the exact words you were thinking about. You see the same number again and again. A Bible verse appears when you need it most. And suddenly you think, God, is that you? But before you call something a sign from God, there's one uncomfortable question you need to ask. Am I seeing this because God is guiding me, or because I desperately want it to be true? Because when we want something badly enough, almost anything can begin to look like confirmation. And that doesn't mean God cannot guide you. It doesn't mean God cannot use circumstances, people, or unexpected moments to get your attention. But a coincidence getting your attention does not automatically mean it deserves your obedience. So how do you tell the difference? Start here. If what you believe God is telling you contradicts what Scripture clearly teaches, you don't need another sign. You don't need another dream. You don't need another video. You don't need the same number to appear 5 more times. God's guidance will not require you to ignore what He has already revealed. And this becomes especially important when emotions are involved. Imagine you're praying about a relationship. You really want this person. You imagine the future together. You've prayed about them for months. Then one night you ask God, if this person is meant for me, please give me a sign. The next morning, a song appears with their name in it. Later, you see a relationship video that seems to describe your exact situation. Then someone casually says something that reminds you of them. Now your mind starts connecting everything. That song was a sign. That video was confirmation. That conversation couldn't have been random. Maybe, but there's another possibility. You were already thinking about that person constantly. So naturally, anything connected to them became easier to notice. That's why one of the most important questions in discernment is this. Am I asking God for direction? Or am I asking Him to confirm the decision I've already made? Those are not the same thing. Sometimes we say, God, show me your will. But what we really mean is, God, please tell me that what I want is your will. And that's where we can fool ourselves. Because once you decide what answer you want, you can start collecting evidence for it everywhere. Every open door becomes confirmation. Every good feeling becomes peace from God. Every coincidence becomes a sign. And everything that challenges your desired outcome gets ignored. But wisdom doesn't work like that. Real discernment is willing to hear an answer you didn't want. So here's another test. Would you still believe this was God's direction if the coincidence had never happened? Take away the number. Take away the dream. Take away the perfectly timed video. Take away the random phrase, someone said. What remains? Is the decision wise? Does it align with Scripture? Have you looked honestly at the person's character? Have you considered the consequences? Have mature, trustworthy people raise concerns that you're ignoring? Because sometimes we're looking for supernatural confirmation, while ordinary wisdom is already screaming at us. And this is especially important in relationships. Someone can treat you badly, lie repeatedly, manipulate you, disrespect your boundaries, and still appear in a coincidence after you prayed. That coincidence does not erase their character. A sign should never become permission to ignore reality. And here's another mistake Christians can make. We sometimes assume that peace automatically means yes. I prayed about it and I felt peaceful. Peace matters, but feelings can change. You can feel peaceful about something because you desperately want it. You can also feel anxious about the right decision simply because the right decision is difficult. So don't make one emotion carry the entire weight of God's guidance. Slow down. Pray. Read Scripture in context. Use wisdom. Look at character. Pay attention to reality. And give important decisions enough time to breathe. Because urgency can make almost anything look spiritual. You may feel like, I need an answer tonight. God needs to show me right now. I need one more confirmation. But sometimes the wisest thing you can do is stop hunting for signs. You don't need to turn every detail of your day into a secret message. Maybe that video was simply recommended to you. Maybe that number appeared because numbers repeat. Maybe that person said those words because people sometimes say surprisingly relevant things. And maybe God did use something unexpected to get your attention. The point isn't to become cynical. The point is humility. You don't always have to know. You can notice something meaningful without immediately announcing, God told me. You can say, that caught my attention. I'm going to pray about it. That's a very different posture, because one of the most mature sentences a Christian can learn to say is, I don't know yet. That isn't weak faith. Sometimes it's honest faith. We want certainty because uncertainty is uncomfortable. We want God to write the answer across the sky. Take this job. Marry this person. Move to this city. Wait 6 months. Do exactly this. But much of life doesn't work that way. Sometimes you pray and still have two reasonable choices. Sometimes there isn't a dramatic sign. Sometimes you have to make the wisest decision you can with the information you have and trust God while you move forward. And maybe that's exactly what you needed to hear today. Not, this video is a sign you've been waiting for. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't know what you asked God for. And I don't know why this video appeared in front of you. But I can tell you this. If you've been desperately chasing signs because you're afraid of making the wrong decision, you can stop for a moment. God does not need you to become a detective who decodes every coincidence correctly. Bring him your desire honestly. Tell him what you want, but also give him room to challenge what you want. Ask for wisdom, not just confirmation. Ask for truth, even if the truth disappoints you. And before you call something a sign from God, ask yourself, does this align with Scripture? Does wisdom support it? Am I looking honestly at reality? Or am I collecting signs because I've already decided what I want the answer to be? And finally, can I accept that I may not know yet? Because sometimes faith isn't receiving a perfect sign. Sometimes faith is taking the next wise step without one. So if something recently happened that felt like a sign, don't panic. Don't dismiss it automatically either. Just hold it with humility. Pray about it. Test it. Give it time. And remember this. A coincidence may get your attention, but it should not automatically get your obedience. And maybe the question isn't, God, was that a sign? Maybe the better prayer is, God, help me want the truth more than I want my preferred answer.